One of the objectives of the program is, in the end, is to promote the interculturality between countries in the European Union.
Welcome to the Volunteer Support Podcast, brought to you by the European Union's co-funded project Promptus EDU, a collaboration between associations Audis Aut Mori and Building Bridges.
Welcome to a new episode of our Volunteer Support Podcast series. This episode is about tools and resources volunteers can access to enhance their experience and have the chance to live it at their best. I'm Luisa from Asociación Building Bridges, and today I am with Antonio, ESC coordinator. I'm very happy to have the chance to count on this experience and be able to talk about resources accessible freely by volunteers. Hello, Antonio.
Hello, how are you? Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, first of all, thank you for being here. It's a very, very big pleasure.
It is. Let's, disseminate about the things that we do every day, but probably some people don't know. So if we can help get these resources closer to the volunteers, that could be great.
Yes, of course. And first of all, I would ask you to say what is the SC for those listeners who don't know yet the program.
Okay, sure. So the ESC is the European Solidarity Corps. It's the volunteering program of the European Union. It's the program that the European Union made to promote solidarity between young people in Europe and to promote these cross-border activities. And that's basically it.
Yes, and the purpose of this podcast is to talk about the resources that volunteers can have at their hands before, during, and also after their project. Let's talk about something, and for example, language. Do volunteers have at their hands language support?
Yeah, definitely, because one of the objectives of the program is, in the end, is to promote the interculturality between countries in the European Union. And for example, I went to do my volunteering project to the Czech Republic, and of course, I didn't know a word of Czech. So the program foresees this situation, and the volunteers probably don't know the language of the country they're going to. So for that, they have EU Academy, is the online platform of language support of the European Union, and basically it gives an online course to the volunteers for them to be able to practice the language. So it's a website in which the volunteers can register, and of course totally free. They first do a placement test, level test, so the platform can provide to the volunteer a course that has their level. So for example, in my case in Czech, of course, it was A1 A1 minus. It was like the minimum level. And from that course, then from that test, they provide the volunteer a course, and then the volunteer can do it and slowly progressing in the language level. So that's one way of supporting the integration of the volunteer in the other country.
Wow, that sounds amazing. But I was also thinking about that an online course can provide you with the basis to start to learn a new language. Mm-hmm. But I think that we should encourage volunteers also to take advantage of any other opportunities they can find when they arrive in their volunteering place in another country, and, for example, go to language exchanges or go into libraries and see if they can take some books for free, for example. I think that those could be some interesting activities that can enable volunteers to improve their language if they already know the language, or learn a new one.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I mean, of course, the language course is probably like the basis, but then when you are new in a new culture with a new language and everything, there's a lot of different ways to practice it. Even like just listening to conversations in the street, how the people is speaking and everything. There's, as you said, language exchanges. There's just a lot of different opportunities that a new person that has just arrived to a new culture can do. And of course, it's worth to explore each one of them.
Yes, and also a way to destroy the language barrier. which can be an obstacle when you move to another country, which is never easy. And talking about moving to another country, I would also underline that participant in the ESC program must always be in a safe environment. And that's why they are insured for the duration of their activity, from the moment to leave until the end of the activities. So they have actually an insurance. Can you confirm that?
Yes, of course. And this topic is actually very, very important because, for example, in Spain that we have like universal health care, sometimes we think like, like we take it for granted, right? Like, yes, I go to the doctor and I don't pay anything. But of course, we know that really is the health system is not for free. So it's very important that all the volunteers are covered. The program demands that all the volunteers have their the European Health Card. In the case of some countries, not everyone is entitled to have the European Health Card for a full year. In any case, the program also provides the volunteers with Henner. Henner is a private company, private insurance that the program hires this cover for all the volunteers. In the case of the volunteers that they have the European Health Card, it's just a secondary cover for some extra things that are not covered by the European Health Card. And in the case that the volunteer doesn't have the right to receive the European Health Card, Henner can be the primary cover of the volunteer. So in this case, in all the cases, the volunteer will always be covered. This is something that I think we all, that all the people that we work in the program, we insist so much because it's really important, right? That everyone is covered and nobody is having any issues with the health system.
Yeah, of course. And we have been talking about language support and insurance, but when we talk about activities and also duties or rights of volunteers, I think we should spend some words to mention an important instrument, the contract.
The contract.
The volunteering agreement, which is actually a contract that volunteers sign with the hosting organization. So it's important that they read it carefully and they are aware of all the activities they are going to implement when they arrive in the project.
Of course. I mean, it's also part as our role as supporting organization to inform the volunteers about their rights and responsibilities. But then the activity agreement or volunteering agreement is the document where everything is written, right? Just like the contract. So in there, the volunteer will have reflected their rights, their responsibilities, the activities that they will do, the money that they will receive. So of course, it's very important that everyone is clear about this. It's important to know for the volunteer to know what they are signing, right? Because sometimes the people comes and they say like, yeah, but I don't know if this is right or wrong, and we are like, check your agreement probably.
Of course, and also because when you sign the agreement and you are aware of the activities, you are also more aware of the experience you are going to embrace. Because at the end, we always say to volunteers that are thinking about applying for a volunteer activity to choose one that suits best their needs and also their interest, because it's a full-time activity. You will carry out activities during the week, every day, 5 days per week. So it's something that you have to like. And it's important that you know what are you going to do before leave.
Yeah.
I would kind of call it a learning experience. And at the end of the experience, volunteers also the opportunity to reflect on this learning process. And actually, they can reflect on this learning process and have a certificate that certificates this learning process. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I guess you're talking about the Youth Pass.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So yeah, the volunteering program also gives some recognition, some official recognition of the outcomes of the learning of the volunteer, because although it's not work experience, it's not an internship itself, but it's an activity that as you just said, it's a full-time activity for a lot of hours in which the volunteer will learn a lot of different skills and knowledge. And so the Youth Pass is exactly what's the final goal of the document is to identify and document the learning outcomes that they develop on the project. It's a document that the volunteers themselves they write with the support of their tutor in the hosting organization. And then it's a document official, backed by the European Union. And so it's a document that can help the volunteer then to, to apply for a job, we know some cases of people that have used the Youth Pass to get a job or
Yes.
just to recognize their experience abroad.
Yes, because it's a kind of way to explain more specifically the activities. Imagine you are filling a CV. You can't spend one page of this CV to describe all the activities you're implementing during your volunteering project, because nobody will read your 10 pages CVs. So you can, for example, put the link of your Youth Pass in a digital version, or you can attach it if you are sending a printed CV, and you can put the proof of all the activities you have been carrying out during the experience. So at the end, it is a unique document, and when I say unique, I mean unique, because there is a code that identifies as unique your certificate, and you can check. There is like a QR code at the end of the page, and you can check, and your name will go out with the specific dates of your volunteering project. So each volunteer has a unique document that certifies their participation.
Okay, so if I want a Youth Pass, but I haven't done the volunteering and I make a fake Youth Pass, I can be detected.
Can't.
Okay.
You can't.
Okay.
No QR code.
Okay.
If it is not original.
All right. Good to know.
And I think that we should also mention that when we talk about learning process, we should say that volunteers are also involved in training activities. They start before leaving with the pre-departure training, and they also participate in on-arrival training when they start their project. And if the project lasts more than 6 months, they are also involved in midterm evaluation. And at the end, they have also the opportunity to participate in an annual European Solidarity Corps event. So it's like a cycle of trainings that allow volunteers to be more aware about their experience, what they are doing, be aware of the program, and how they can implement their experience.
Yeah, definitely. If maybe I can start talking a bit about the pre-departure training.
Yes.
Because I think it's maybe the one that is a bit more different, I would say, because I think the pre-departure is more focused in it's like the first way of contact of the volunteer with all the rules of the program and everything. But it's a very important training because it's where the volunteers get to know all the rules of the program, what are their rights, what are their responsibilities. It's very important for the volunteers because, also for managing the expectations, the fears they may have, the expectations they may have. Of course, the people that is going to leave to go to do a volunteering project for maybe 1 year to another country. So it's important to know everything, the rules of traveling, just basically everything that the volunteer needs to know is covered in this training. And I don't know if I'm missing anything.
No, and I think that the volunteers, when participating with you in the pre-departure, I am sure they had lots of questions.
Yeah, of course. There's a lot of different profiles of volunteers. There are some people that they have more experience traveling and everything, but for some people that is their first experience abroad, of course they have a lot of questions, and there of course we try to sometimes I speak about my own experience or experience that other people that I know, so they can picture more what it is to be an ESC volunteer.
I was thinking that there is something that you tell for sure to volunteers during your pre-departure training, which is not about learning tools we have been talking about during this podcast, but it's about what to bring. I am sure that you always say to your volunteers, don't forget your discount card. Because sometimes we don't think about it, but if you are students, bring your student card, because you never know in which museum you will be able to enter for free. And I will also take the opportunity to mention the European Youth Card, which is a card that volunteers may access to. And with this card, they can access to discounts when they are traveling for some transportations, or they also access to museums for free, or they, of course, have discounts in some shops. It depends. There is an official website of the European Youth Card where volunteers can access to the list of all the discounts. And if you don't have it, but you have another youth card, check if you already have it, because there are some local youth cards that already have inside also the European youth cards, like they are connected. So I think that it's okay when we are talking about learning process and all the tools we can use to enhance our learning process, but also don't forget your discount card, because going to museums is also important.
Yeah, museums and other kinds of things, as you said, transportation, some even fast food restaurants, I think. So, yeah, I mean, let's be honest, the pocket money is not that good. I mean, the money that the volunteers receive is good, but of course you can make use of some discounts.
And I also hope that all these tools we have been mentioned can help volunteers abroad to implement their experience, but also encourage more people to apply for the program, because I think that these make clear that volunteers are not alone.
Exactly.
So you have support, you are going to participate in trainings, you mentioned also the figure of the mentor, you have a tutor you're sending organization providing you a pre-departure training, you are going to participate on trainings when you arrive in your project, you can access to a language tools to have an online course for free. So it's something that it's important to underline, because volunteers are not alone, and this is an experience that can really, really enhance their learning experience. And I don't know, it's because I did a volunteer, so I'm happy to say that this is a great experience to embrace.
Yeah, for me, that the final message would be that one, that the global support that the volunteers have, because for some people, of course, it can be a struggle to move abroad, but the program foresees that, and the program is there to support all the volunteers. So if you are deciding to apply to a project, you should know that you will not be alone. You have support, emotional support, and also all these opportunities, perks, all these compliments that we have just spoken about. And
let's take the opportunity and start the journey. This is our message for today. So prepare your luggage, apply for a project, and live your adventure, and don't be scared. Because I know that you can be full of fears, and I hope also of expectation, but sometimes fears can a little bit scare us. So don't be scared, because you can be supported, and this can be an experience that can change your life. So this is my message today from Promptus@EU.
all right. So thank you very much for the invitation, Luisa.
Thank you for participating, and I hope to see you soon in another podcast.
All right. Same.
Bye.
Bye.